What's going on, everyone? It's Justin here, and today I'm going to be showing you guys the general process of how we film our YouTube videos. On average, I would say we create about 70 to 80 videos a year, and with all the different deadlines, it's important to try to find a way to create content at the highest quality possible, but also being able to meet the deadlines and the quantity. And the process for filming the travel films and the videos on the go are very different. So this video is just going to be focusing on the in-office stuff. And I also want to give a huge thanks to GoodNotes for sponsoring a portion of this video. So for starters, what is our equipment? And I'm not going to talk too much about this in this video, because if you guys want to see a separate gear episode, let me know down in the comment section below. But right now, what you guys are watching is a Red V-Raptor 8K camera. And that is one that shoots in RAW and is essentially the best of the best for that specific need. It's really good for office stuff because I'm able to change all the settings in post-production, and the amount of latitude, it just makes it very easy. But the cameras that we really have been relying a lot on lately though have been the Sonys. Whether it is the FX3 or the FX30, these are cameras that I can recommend to anyone, and it's a really good investment for anyone looking for a camera that has that cinema quality, color space, you want to learn to grade footage and all that. And you can either have a very simple and light setup, or you can also build it out like a rig like this. We have 5 of these cameras at the moment, and anytime we want to film something, we just grab and go. It has a flip screen, great autofocus, really good lens lineup, and as I said, the colors and the dynamic range, the focus and everything is just really, really good. So even though the Red is like our main camera that you guys see film a lot of the primary clips, this camera is one that is really good for running gun because of the stabilization, and at the end of the day, it's probably the camera that I would recommend to the most people right now. And when it comes to audio, I either use a Rode voiceover microphone or I have a Sennheiser Lav, but the one that I would say most people should go ahead and purchase is the DJI wireless mic set. It's just the easiest to use, very reliable, because I have had some issues with my Sennheiser mic in the past, but it definitely has the best overall quality. So that is the equipment side of things. The next thing is to take a look at what video we're filming and planning that out entirely. So I want to give a huge thanks to the sponsor of this video, GoodNotes 6, and their brand new AI advanced note-taking platform that is better than ever before in their latest version. AI technology is something that has been implemented in some of our favorite elements of software today, and GoodNotes has taken full advantage of that. And in general, GoodNotes is already a very visually appealing and aesthetic platform that is really nice for handwritten notes and being able to color code and learn things very visually, but at the same time, it has great methods of organization, ease of use, and it is honestly the best way to be able to create and bring your ideas on paper and then to life. And that is how it contributes to our video editing workflow. And in the beginning, you might want to take a look at some tutorials to be able to best take advantage of GoodNotes. And some of the examples of the ease of use include being able to scribble to erase a word. It's just super natural and intuitive, but also the circle to lasso feature to be able to select and move things around the screen. And having spell check built in is something that I definitely need. A new feature in GoodNotes 6 is one where you can purchase template stickers and presets to fully customize your space and improve your workflow. And there are just limitless options here that you can get familiar with as you get used to GoodNotes. GoodNotes has also given me 12 codes to give away to you guys, which will allow you to take 50% off your first year subscriptions to GoodNotes 6. Just leave a comment down below about how you would use GoodNotes and your favorite feature, and I'll DM you with a code. Whether you're a student or creative, GoodNotes is good for anyone who is looking to take their note-taking to the next level and be able to visualize ideas. If you guys want to go ahead and check out GoodNotes for yourself, I'm going to drop a link down below and you can go ahead and try out the latest version, GoodNotes 6. And I want to give a huge thanks to them once again for sponsoring this video. So once it's time to go ahead and film the video, the first thing that I usually work on is the A-roll. What an A-roll is essentially what you guys are seeing right now, and that is the talking head recording, where I talk about the product, the different points, and build a plot for the video. And in a lot of scenarios, we're gonna film in one main set to cover the entire basis of the videos, but then also change up the set a few more times around the house. And that allows us to have different dimension and also add additional points into the video. At the very end of the process, after all the B-rolls laid out, if there's still certain things that I would like to talk about, then I'll actually do a voiceover with B-roll, and that is just areas that are filled in. The A-roll element really does come down to, I guess, experience and practice. Being able to naturally talk in front of the camera is something that either requires notes, sometimes a teleprompter, or just a lot of practice and knowledge of the topic. For the most part with tech videos, I don't actually use that many notes. I take a look at a few different bullet points and things that I want to cover, but a lot of the focus is also on the set itself. So playing around with like the lighting, making sure there's different dimensions and layers layers that make it interesting, but also ensuring that the set is not over cluttered is very important. And so the A-roll is something that I personally still feel like I struggle with, but over time have slowly gotten better at it, even 1,000 videos in. It's something that I'm still continuing to try to work on. The best way to practice A-roll though is just literally to sit down and try it for yourself. And as you go on, you're gonna compare your work a few months later and a few years later and see how much better you've gotten at the speaking part. With A-roll, there are a few ways that we do it, whether it is sitting down with the camera on a tripod, having a secondary angle that I can also talk to make it more conversational, and in some cases, a more casual vlog style where the camera actually follows me around, walking around a space, giving you a walkthrough or demonstrating something while also talking about it. This is very common in home tours, travel films, and also in car reviews where I'm trying to give you a walkthrough and describing the exteriors and visuals of something while also trying to be informative. So when it comes to filming B-roll, this is usually something that I do after the A-roll, but it's one of the most important things that you guys see at the start of each tech video. The first 10 seconds is usually some of the cinematic B-roll sequences, and then throughout the video, you utilize B-roll to either tell the story, demonstrate the products, showcase the design element, which is very important in tech specifically nowadays, as well as kind of show the tutorial aspect of how to use something when going over the tips and tricks. With B-roll, there's different layers to it, just like the whole video process. I start out by trying to film the widest shots first, which are like the general stuff where everything is straight, everything is a lot more like static and essentially boring, but it gets the job done, it covers the basis, and at least it is footage that is going to be very important in the main parts of the video. But beyond that, the next layer is to play around with the different angles a little bit, maybe try the 45 degree, utilize foregrounds as well, which is something that you're also gonna see me do quite often. But then the next step after that is to go into the macros. I think macros really add a nice element to the product, but it is also hard to figure out what areas to really focus on and what people care about, especially when it comes to tech. Whether it is speaker grills, the ports, the design details, and just small touches of the product, macros are just a really fun way to capture another dimension of the product, and I also really enjoy doing that. But those are kind of the general product B-roll practices, but then you can move on to lifestyle as well. So this includes going outside, walking around with the product, and capturing it in an environment that isn't in an office, and in an environment that you can see the product utilized by the end consumer. So for example, a laptop can be out in an office, at a coffee shop, a phone can be out and about taking photos, but I usually like to combine a good amount of static in-office B-roll that is clean and isolates the product within itself, paired up with B-roll with some lifestyle as well. The last layer is usually tutorials and different screen records of demonstrations of the product. This is usually more static, it is overhead, just like the unboxings, and that is where we go into details of different settings that we use on a smartphone camera, for example, maybe showing you guys the screen, demonstration of the UI, or just what it's like to use the product. And that is kind of the layers of filming a tech video. I mean, right now I'm filming the home series, so I'll start out with like the wide shots that are very straight and static, and then I'll move on to the different angles, the macros, and then clips of me interacting with it. And I've kind of applied this process with all different types of videos that we're making, but this is just like a small example of it. To be able to meet the volume of videos that we have to create a year, and with all the product releases, embargoes, and deadlines, it is really important to have a process. And so depending on the industry that you're in, you can either follow the same format that we do, where it is very sequential and things follow different layers, but at the same time, you can also kind of interpret that in different ways and figure out what works best for you. The art of YouTube is really down to what works best for you. There's no specific way of how you're supposed to do things. And when it comes to editing as well, the way we do it is we cut the A-roll first, then we lay out the B-roll on all of the different cuts, then we look into integrating the second angle and third angle, and then figure out where the lifestyle B-roll can go in before the final edit. But I also know people who start out with the B-roll and build sequences before doing their actual A-roll, because it gives them more of an idea of what to talk about. This is simply not something that I've been doing for so many years now, so I've gotten very used to this process. But as I said, it is something that we continue to work on, and I still don't know if my system is the one that works the best. As always, if you guys enjoyed this video, make sure to go ahead and drop a like, subscribe to the channel, and if you have any questions, leave a comment down below, and I'll see you all in the next one.